Straight drop, he's got a man, intercepted by Sellers. Can he outrun everybody? We don't know. Down at the 46-yard line, the second interception of the night for the Blue Devils.
Jade Sellers with a big interception as he stops the Bears cold, and Jade looked like he had some room, but he cut it back. Jade will not avoid contact. He'll go out of his way to create some contact. Looks like he's tired on that sideline, John. They're working on Jade on the bench right behind you, but an awfully big play for Jade Sellers in that Blue Devil defense.
So 1st and 10 for the Blue Devils from the 46-yard line as they again turn away the Bears. Stafford in at tailback. And Grissom's going to get the ball straight up the middle, still driving inside the 50, down to the 49. He picks up 5 as he puts his head down, runs through the middle of that defense over Chad Cothran, who eventually helped bring him down, as well as Mike Dotson, but he picks up 5.
Just like a pinball, he kept bouncing off of people, and he'd make contact and slide. John, how does Jade look on the sideline?
He looks tired, Tommy. He's played a big game offensively and defensively. He's just got a little winded right now, just like everybody else over here.
See a wide receiver on the right, Cherry to the left. Reeder will roll right. He has some pressure, throws, caught. Beautiful catch by Grissom. Now a flag comes in. As a good job on that play, Tommy, for Grissom, as he was covered tightly by John Reese. And we'll have to check and see what the flag is.
I don't know how Jason got that football in there. He just, he threw it through the defender, and Chad Cothran, one of the down linemen for Mount Juliet, nailed him just as he released the football. The big mark-off going to go against the Bears.
And Reeder looks to be a little shaken, Tommy. He's a little wobbly back there behind the line.
He's taking some shots back there tonight.
So it'll be pass interference against the Bears, and maybe that's why the coverage was so good on Grissom. That he caught it was an amazing fact.
And the flag really came out kind of late for pass interference, to be honest, because the contact may have been...
I want to say, Tommy, that the contact was on downfield because Elliott Carson had been over there, and they ran that play again with him deep and the fullback under him, and I want to say that the interference was on Carson.
You may be absolutely right, Sam, and the mark-off goes against the Bears, and another penalty against Mount Juliet, Terry.
Tommy, that's their 6th penalty of the night. 6 penalties, 45 yards. Lebanon penalized only 2 times tonight for 15.
So it'll be 1st and 10 inside the 35-yard line. 4:13 remaining in the ball game. Is Tommy, now the Blue Devils will probably be just content to run the clock down as much as they can. If they score, great. If they can't, well, that's fine. They'll give the ball up with about a minute to go.
And Bob Dillard running the stopwatch on the sideline, holding his team in the huddle.
Straight up the middle of Grissom. He doesn't get anything. As the middle of the line, Chad Cothran got a hold of him, as well as Josh Knight, and he will lose about a half a yard. But Tommy, it'll keep that clock running.
And Coach Dillard has got a stopwatch, and he waits for the official to signal the ball ready for play, and then he waits to send that player in with the play. So the Blue Devils going to keep in the huddle as long as they possibly can, and Bob's content to let them eat up that clock.
2nd down and 11. Tressler split wide to the left. Carson an end on the right side. Cherry a flanker to the left. Now he will move up to the line as Tressler drops back. Reeder turns, toss sweep to Stafford. A little bit of room. He will get to the 35 and just past it as Dotson will wrestle him around. And Tommy, there was a hole there, and then it closed real fast.
Closed very quickly as he had just a crack of daylight, but the Mount Juliet defense pursuing hard, cut off the angle. Now Lebanon looking at a 3rd down and long.
3rd and 10 as Stafford gets back to the original line of scrimmage as the Blue Devils content to stand in there and watch the clock run. Griffin will come into the game, so will Clemens. 2.5 minutes remaining in the ball game. Cherry now comes out. Griffin in at that wingback spot on the right side, Tommy. You better be watchful of that little inside handoff. Reeder turns. That's exactly what it's going to be, but this time not quite the result as Josh Knight got burned about 3 times on that play, decided that he knew what he was looking for.
Well, Knight is a small guy to play on the defensive front, 5'9", 180. They play him at one of those tilt tackle positions, and he just stepped through on the stunt, waiting to greet Griffin as he got the football. And Mount Juliet's going to take a timeout. 1 minute, 53 seconds to go in the game. Lebanon leads 13-0, and we'll be back after this. Tommy Bryan, Terry Stafford, Sam Axley, and John Bryan bringing you all the Lebanon High excitement as Lebanon leads Mount Juliet 13-0. John, down on the field.
Tommy, we may still be on the offensive drive if the offside official would have thrown a flag on the face mask on our running back on that last offensive play that we had, but needless to say, we are going to punt it here.
Tressler's punt angled toward that left corner will go out of bounds. Exactly where? They will continue back inside the 10, mark it. Yep, outside the 10, 13, 14, still going, 15-yard line. And that's where Mount Juliet will take over. Only a minute 47 remains in the ball game, Tommy.
Terry, what about that kick?
Tied 23 yards by Tressler on the punt. It pins Mount Juliet back to their own 15. That's where they'll start with 1:47 left in the game.
A long way to go for Mount Juliet and not much time to get there, Sam.
And one thing I noticed, now Phillips will come off the field, but I noticed in the middle of that, after the play, he was down on the grass stretching, trying to get some of the cramps out, and he's off the field now as Tressler in for him. As 3 wide receivers for Norval as the Bears trail and are deep in their own territory. He's going to roll to his left, plants, unloads. It is almost intercepted by Pitt. In and out of his hands. It was meant for Chandler. And that Tommy, had he come up with it, there wasn't anybody in front of him.
Nobody between Damon Pitt and the end zone as the sophomore has it go through his hands, incomplete. And Mount Juliet going to have to throw the football. They're in a position where they just want to try to salvage something out of this game and get on the board.
Minute 40 remaining in the ball game, 2nd and 10. Substitutions into the ball game for Mount Juliet. Hayes will come in, and now Butler will return at the tailback spot. Daniel split to the right, and now the official is going to take a little bit of a timeout.
Butler came in from the sideline and had his helmet off, and he's having trouble getting those snaps adjusted. And Jack Jolly, who's snapped up a few helmets in his long officiating career, back there working on Tito Butler. I want to remind you that next week's broadcast, you need to get those VCRs going because Lebanon Cablevision and the Lebanon Booster Club will present the homecoming tape delay action on Saturday morning as Lebanon plays Kaywood High School of Harlan, Kentucky, and we'll have all the band and halftime activities here from Noakes Lassiter Field.
2nd and 10 for the Bears. Split backs, 2 wide receivers to the left side. Norval, he's going to run the option. Nobody out there. Now he'll pitch to Butler, and Butler, Phillips came up, stood him up, and hit him, and hit over the top. Comes Ian Crockett to give him another shot, Tommy.
Sam, the timing on that was perfect. Norval thought he had drawn the defense to him, made the pitch, and all of a sudden, 2 blue jerseys right there. Phillips and Crockett just closed down, and Mount Juliet now looking at a 3rd down and about 8.
Chandler back into the ball game. 1:32 as Butler was bounced out of bounds. As they need 8 yards, but a lot more than that if they're going to make any noise here this evening. 2 wide receivers to the right side. Again, split backs for Norval. He looks over the D. Looks to hand off. Nobody there. Straight drop. Man over the middle. Good catch, but Ronald C. laid him out. Chandler caught it, but I bet Tommy in the morning he's going to wish he didn't.
Oh, a big-time hit by Ron C., the junior free safety. Chandler did a good job hanging on to the football. Why in the world anybody could catch that ball after that kind of impact is beyond me.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line, 1:24 as the Bears up running their hurry-up offense. And now they just throw the ball out of bounds to stop the clock. And Tommy, I'm not really sure they were up to the line ready for the official to set the ball I'm not sure why with a minute 24 you don't just run a play. You lose 9 seconds as it is.
That's a good point, Sam. I was looking at Chandler on that play, and he had his hands on his knees. I think he was having trouble drawing a deep breath after Ron C. took that, made that little back adjustment. Normally chiropractors work you around like that, but Ron C. may have a new line of work.
And Chandler goes out of the ball game, replaced by Ross Hayes. Two wide receivers to the right, split backs. Now they drop into the I